In this video, we're doing a tutorial on prompt engineering in visual storytelling. Part of it will set up a storyline, we'll break down how the prompts work, we'll develop a shot list and maybe some images. After that, we'll look at reframing it for other types of storylines, think multiverse. Now, all of this is part of a talk I gave recently at Ecamm Live's Leap Event on multi-agent storytelling. So if you want to find out more about that, the link is in the description. Otherwise, let's get into the tutorial. So let's start off with a tutorial on effective prompt engineering. And to do that, we're going to do it from a storytelling perspective by talking about a woman and her cat in New York as a storytelling construct. And when I'm doing prompt engineering, it's all about breaking it down into the component parts, such as in this case, a structured sequence of events. We've also got the protagonist, which happens to be the woman, the environment or the scene, which happens to be New York, and the fact that she has another character, being her cat. With that information in place, we give the structure of what we want to create, which is a 5-scene write-up, and we would like something dramatic, maybe in the 3rd scene. And from there, we end up getting storytelling that's over 5 different scenes. Now, the next thing that we want to do from here is get some sort of visualization. But before we do the visualization, we need to create what's called a shot list. Now, the shot list is just a simple continuation of the story we just created, just with a little bit of output formatting. In this case, create a simplified shot list, and we see that information coming through. And there's a lot of visual componentry going into what's being written. Now that we've got the story and the shot list, we can go into generating prompts that allow us to generate these images in something like Leonardo AI. Now, to create images effectively, the things that are important is that firstly, we continue the context of the previous part of the conversation with an output format, which is generate a concise image prompt. After that, we give the aesthetic style that we want. It's pretty simple here. It's just New York City, a woman, 2025. And then lastly, because there are multiple characters, we want to make sure that each of the characters are stylistically the same in every scene. Last thing we need is to see a cat that's brown in one scene and black in the next scene. So we continue the conversation, and one of the things that you notice is that all the image prompts that have been generated all have the same fluffy orange tabby cat in each of the scenes. So hopefully we're going to get visual consistency. So when we start running this through Leonardo AI, you end up with a bunch of images that look pretty good. We can notice in the 3rd scene that there is a dramatic issue going on here. The cat is escaping in the park. So we have our final story of the woman in her 30s in New York with her cat. But what if we want to take this same story and restructure it for a different period in time? And for this, let's go with Elizabethan times or Shakespeare, Hamlet sort of style. From that, we can just take a new prompt, a reframe prompt. We ensure that the woman and the cat are in each scene, but the scene should be quite different because it's a different period in time. And we do have a reinforcement part of the prompt that says that only image prompts are expected. The woman and the cat should have visual consistency across every scene. And so now we have our noble woman and her cat in London. It's a similar sort of concept, but one of the things that you notice when you see them side by side is that there is a little bit of a flaw. The blonde woman in the first scene is a little bit different colored blonde, and then she becomes silver, and then a darker brunette, followed by silver at the end. And what we're looking at is what I call instructional collapse in prompt engineering. So that was the end of the tutorial section that I did on prompt engineering for storytelling. This was part of the Ecamm Live Leap Event that I did recently, where I was talking about multi-agent architecture in a project called Emotional Support Spiders. Now, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, then check out the link in the description. You can book a call. Otherwise, if you want to learn more about the other agent workflows and human-in-the-loop concepts that I talked about at that seminar, then check out the next video. I'm Happy Dave. Have a great day.